Behalf. If something is done on one's behalf, it is done for that person by another.
The original speaker was sick, so his son gave the speech on his behalf.
Flap. To flap means to move quickly up and down or from side to side.
The tiny bird flapped its wings and ate from the flowers.
Glacier. A glacier is a large piece of ice that moves very slowly.
The North Pole is covered by a huge glacier.
Globe. The globe refers to the earth.
Water covers most of the globe.
Horizontal. When something is horizontal, it is flat and level with the ground.
The Russian flag has 3 horizontal stripes of white, blue, and red.
Hum. To hum means to make a low, continuous noise.
The man hummed his favorite song.
Inventory. An inventory is a supply of something.
Gwen was checking the inventory to make sure we had what we needed.
Inward. If a thought or feeling is inward, it is not expressed or shown to others.
She had an inward feeling of guilt when she lied to her mother.
Loaf. A loaf of bread is bread shaped and baked in one piece.
Could you please buy a loaf of bread for sandwiches?
Oracle. An oracle is a person who speaks with gods and gives advice about the future.
The king went to the oracle to ask if going to war was a good idea.
Orbit. To orbit something means to move around it in a continuous curving path.
The moon orbits the Earth.
Overview. An overview is a general description of a situation.
My brother gave me an overview of the important parts of the book.
Preview. A preview is an opportunity to see something before it is available to the public.
The band played us a preview of their new song.
Previous. If something is previous, then it happened earlier in time or order.
He turned back to the previous page to read the paragraph again.
Provide. To provide something means to supply it.
Each student was provided with a test and 3 sharp pencils.
Recur. To recur means to happen more than once.
Burglaries seem to recur over and over in our neighborhood.
Relevant. When something is relevant, it is important to a certain person or situation.
The 30-year-old book about politics is still relevant to our society today.
Rite. A rite is a traditional ceremony carried out by a particular group or society.
Special masks are worn during the rite when a new baby is born.
Stall. To stall means to stop a process and continue it at a later time.
If you give the car a push, it won't stall.
Supernatural. If something is supernatural, it is not real or explainable by natural law.
The dragon had supernatural powers such as flying and breathing fire.
Adapt. To adapt means to change in order to deal with a new situation or addition.
When he went to the new town, he had to adapt to all the weather changes.
Biological. Biological describes the process of life and living things.
In science, we learned about the biological process of bacterial growth.
Cellular. When something is cellular, it relates to the cells of animals or plants.
She used a microscope to see the activity at a cellular level.
Dynamic. When people are dynamic, they are lively and have creative ideas.
The new dynamic employee came up with a good way to juggle his workload.
Fantasy. A fantasy is a pleasant situation that people think about but is unlikely to happen.
Becoming an astronaut is a fantasy shared by many children.
Heredity. Heredity is the process of passing on features from parents to children.
The boy's face is similar to his father's because of heredity.
Internal. When something is internal, it exists or happens inside a person, object, or place.
We removed the outer case to reveal the computer's internal wires.
Minimal. When something is minimal, it is very small.
My lazy husband does a minimal amount of work around the house.
Pioneer. A pioneer is a person who is the first to discover or be involved in something.
He was a pioneer of computer programming.
Prescribe. To prescribe medicine means to tell someone to take it.
When I was sick, the doctor prescribed me flu medicine.
Respective. When things are respective, they relate separately to each person just mentioned.
The boxers were told to return to their respective corners.
Revive. To revive someone or something means to restore health or life to them.
She revived the feeling of warmth in her leg by rubbing it softly.
Rigid. When rules or systems are rigid, they are severe because they cannot be changed.
Societies often have rigid rules about the way that people are supposed to act.
Sequence. A sequence is a number of events or things that come one after another.
The dominoes fell in a sequence of one after another.
Substitute. To substitute something or someone means to have them take the place of another.
When I ran out of juice, I had to substitute water to drink in the morning.
Surgeon. A surgeon is a doctor who is trained to do surgery.
The surgeon operated on the old man's heart.
Therapy. Therapy is treatment for a particular physical or mental illness or condition.
After she broke her legs, she used physical therapy to learn how to walk again.
Transfer. To transfer something means to move it from one place to another.
The family transferred the groceries from the shopping cart to the car.
Transition. A transition is a process where there is a change from one form to another.
The weather gets colder during the transition from summer to autumn.
Transplant. A transplant is an operation in which a damaged part of one's body is replaced.
The sick child needed a heart transplant to live.
Aquarium. An aquarium is a building where fish and underwater animals are kept.
We took a trip to the aquarium and saw a scary shark.
Arbitrary. If something is arbitrary, it is not based on any plan or system, so it seems random.
The classroom had many arbitrary rules that made me confused.
Autobiography. An autobiography is a true story of a person's life written by that person.
I read an autobiography about my favorite entertainer.
Convention. A convention is behavior that is considered to be common or polite.
In the U.S., a popular convention is to shake hands when you meet someone.
Gracious. If someone is gracious, then they are kind and helpful to those who need it.
The operator was gracious enough to help me find his number.
Improve. To improve something means to make it better.
He studied hard to improve his test scores from the previous year.
Insulate. To insulate something means to protect it from heat, cold, or noise.
People can conserve energy by insulating their houses.
Intrigue. To intrigue means to cause an interest in something or someone.
Her mysterious past intrigued her new friend.
Longevity. Longevity is the ability to live for a long time.
Sea turtles have an amazing longevity.
Misplace. To misplace something means to lose it.
I misplaced my wallet, and I didn't find it until a week later.
Naughty. When children are naughty, they behave badly or do not do what they are told.
The boy had to go to his room because he was being naughty.
Norm. A norm is a way of behaving that is considered normal in a particular society.
Wearing a heavy coat all summer is not considered a norm in the desert.
Orangutan. An orangutan is a large ape with red and brown hair and long arms.
Orangutans use their long arms to swing from trees.
Overload. To overload something means to put more things into it than it is meant to hold.
If you overload the truck, it might crash.
Philanthropy. Philanthropy is the act of helping others without wanting anything in return.
The wealthy business owner is well known for his acts of philanthropy.
Probe. To probe into something means to ask questions to discover facts about it.
The bank probed into his financial history to see if he qualified for a loan.
Recipient. A recipient of something is the person who receives it.
I was the recipient of 4 phone calls today.
Reptile. A reptile is a cold-blooded animal that lays eggs and has skin covered with scales.
Lizards are my favorite type of reptile.
Thrive. To thrive means to do well and be successful, healthy, or strong.
He may be an old man, but he continues to thrive.
Ultimate. When something is ultimate, it is the final result or aim of a long series of events.
By trying hard in school, I will reach my ultimate goal of becoming a doctor.
Antique. If something is antique, it is very old and rare, and therefore valuable.
My grandmother's antique rocking chair is worth a lot of money.
Applicant. An applicant is someone who writes a request to be considered for a job or prize.
Lots of applicants came into the store when the job position became available.
Artifact. An artifact is an old object made by humans that is historically interesting.
We studied artifacts from an ancient Chinese settlement.
Authentic. When something is authentic, it is not false or a copy of the original.
We ate authentic Italian food on our vacation to Rome.
Chronology. The chronology of a series of past events is when they happened.
We learned the chronology of World War II in history class.
Diplomat. A diplomat is a representative of a country who works with another country.
The Spanish diplomat discussed trade issues with officials in Peru.
Epic. An epic is a long book, poem, or movie about a period of time or a great event.
The poet wrote an epic about the great discoveries of the past 1,000 years.
Excerpt. An excerpt is a short piece of writing or music taken from a larger piece.
I didn't listen to the entire symphony online, but I did play an excerpt.
Fossil. A fossil is the hard remains of a prehistoric animal or plant.
The expert arranged the fossils to build the skeleton of the dinosaur.
Humiliate. To humiliate someone means to make them feel ashamed and embarrassed.
I was humiliated when I tripped and fell down in front of the whole school.
Lyric. When a poem is considered lyric, it is written in a simple and direct style.
I enjoy reading and creating my own lyric poetry.
Majesty. Majesty is supreme greatness or authority.
You should address the king and queen as your majesty.
Monarch. The monarch of a country is the king, queen, emperor, or empress.
The monarch lived in a beautiful palace with a grand gate.
Precede. To precede something means to come before it.
The hurricane was preceded by a moment of still wind and clear sky.
Punctual. When someone is punctual, they do something or arrive at the right time.
My mother hates being late. She is the most punctual person I know.
Recruit. To recruit people means to select them to join or work for an organization.
We successfully recruited someone to be the new manager.
Refund. A refund is money given back to a person when an item is returned to a store.
I asked for a refund because the shoes I bought were too tight.
Register. A register is an official list or record of people or things.
At a wedding, there is a register for all of the guests to sign.
Renown. Renown is the quality of being well known due to having done good things.
Michael is a singer of great renown in New Zealand.
Tusk. A tusk is a long, curved, pointed tooth of an elephant, boar, or walrus.
Sadly, some people hunt elephants and remove their tusks to sell them.
Burden. A burden is a serious or difficult responsibility.
Children who do not behave are a burden to their parents.
Compromise. To compromise is to agree to something that is not exactly what you want.
We both compromised about the game we decided to play.
Craft. To craft something is to make it using skill.
She crafted the bookcase out of solid pine wood and then painted it.
Crook. A crook is someone who is not honest or who commits crimes.
The manager was arrested by the police for being a crook.
Currency. Currency is the form of money used in a certain place.
Elizabeth had to exchange her dollars for a foreign currency.
Enigma. An enigma is someone or something that is mysterious or hard to understand.
The theft of the paintings is an enigma to the investigators.
Fragile. When people or things are fragile, they are not strong and can be damaged easily.
The fragile glassware was carefully packed into boxes.
Hybrid. A hybrid is a mixture of different things or styles.
In Greek mythology, a centaur is a hybrid of a man and a horse.
Innocence. Innocence is a lack of experience of difficult or complex things in life.
Everyone who met her found her innocence to be charming.
Merge. To merge two things is to combine them into one whole thing.
The storm clouds merged into one large menacing cloud that filled the sky.
Moderate. When something is moderate, it is not too big or too small in size or amount.
It takes a moderate amount of patience to be around small children all day.
Overwhelm. To overwhelm is to exist in such a large amount that someone cannot deal with it.
The amount of homework her teacher assigned has overwhelmed her.
Perception. A perception of a situation is a way of thinking about it or understanding it.
Since he couldn't see, his perception of life was much different than mine.
Reunion. A reunion is the meeting of people or things that have been separated.
Every summer, we have a family reunion at the lake.
Rig. To rig something means to dishonestly arrange it.
The bad politician rigged the election so that he would win.
Shiver. A shiver is a shaking movement the body makes when someone is cold or scared.
I got shivers on my way home because it was so cold.
Sociable. When someone is sociable, they are friendly.
Many of my good friends are sociable, but I am shy.
Talkative. When someone is talkative, they talk a lot.
My aunt is very talkative whenever she is on the phone.
Tow. To tow something is to pull it.
The truck was towing a trailer behind it.
Tramp. To tramp is to put your feet down in a loud, heavy way as you walk.
The baby tramped across the floor as he was learning to walk.